Dead End Hip Hop album review. Big L, Harlem's Finest, Return of the King. Now, look, we're a man down. You know what I'm saying? But we still here doing what we got to do. Shout out to Modest. A little under the weather today, so it was not able to make it, but we're going to hold it down. So we got Ken, Beezy, and myself. And we got the On Deck TV crew. So make sure you go subscribe to their channel, and we will start putting their content designed for Dead End Hip Hop on Dead End Hip Hop. And also make sure you become a patron, because we just did Bruiser Wolf for the listening. If you want to watch the interview, it'll be on YouTube for free. But if you want the music that he shared, and I'm going to tell you like this, it was called Common Goals. It's the unreleased joint that has Akeem Ali. If you want it, and we had to run it back to back. That's how dope it was. This is only the second time we've ever done that. Now, if you want to hear that, then you got to become a patron or a YouTube member, because that's the only way that you are going to get the full version of the listening. And we got other stuff over there too. So while you're over there, go browse and consume more exclusive Dead End Hip Hop content. But we're back to regular schedule programming. Big L, Harlem's Finest, Return of the King. This was dope. I'm done. Nah, I'm playing. But no, because I'm not gonna lie. Like Big L's debut album, I've listened to it. Obviously, I think it's one of the better hip hop albums of all time. But it's not something that I go back to frequently. I'm not gonna lie. But I do love his style. I love his aggression. I love his voice. It's very New York, but it feels different. And obviously you get that here. But because he's been gone for so long, what this album made me think of was like, damn, like there's so many people I feel that have been influenced by Big L. Also, if he was alive, this nigga would have been one of the most beastly MCs still, because obviously this stuff was recorded 20 plus years ago, a lot of these joints. And then the features that he got on here, like Method Man, we've been talking about Method Man for a minute now, where it's like, Method nigga, hey, bro, like we don't need no more features, bro. We know you can rap and you sound really good in 2025, so where to work at? You know what I'm saying? This was just another one of those verses. But yeah, nah, Big L would have been monstrous if he was still alive. Joey Badass, Ken. This, like,
he was good, bro. Joey was dope on here, bro.
Like, yeah. Joey, where was this on the album, bro? Where was this? Is the Joey that we all thought we were gonna get when you was taking shots at the West Coast. B, I think you called it when you saw the 7-minute freestyle with Jay. You was like, they were gonna clean it up. Nigga, this shit sound like they went to the studio and fucking recorded that. Like they really cleaned it up. And I've always been biased. It'll be the first time I say it on record. I've always been biased to Jay-Z when it comes to freestyles and when he collaborations and shit. But I'm not gonna front, bro. Big L mopped the floor with that nigga. When Big L came with that second verse, and then you could tell Jay was kind of like searching for words toward the end. Yeah, Big L mopped the floor with that nigga.
You're like,
and I'm a Jay guy. Yeah. That was early Jay. But also, freestyle back then meant something different than what it does now, Ken. They was literally off the top of the dome, like on the spot in the radio station. So that's definitely different. But nah, man, like I walked away from this thing. Like, bruh, Big L was one of the few MCs that I really think would have lasted the test of time if he was still alive now. But, unfortunately, we didn't get that. But we do have this 25 years after the fact. And I think it's dope. I think for a posthumous album, typically they don't come out that well. But this one was really good, and I like the features on it. I thought Nas did his thing. I thought McGruff did his thing. Method Man was a fucking standout. Method Man, stop fucking around, bro. Stop fucking around, bro. Just give us the project. We need that.
I ain't gonna say I ain't know what to expect. I kind of knew what to expect. It was just dope that I'm glad that Mass Appeal put a spotlight on Big L. As a Big L fanatic and as a junkie, this album wasn't for me. Like this This whole entire album was not for me. I've heard every single verse many different ways. They re-released all these verses on different production plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? How many times we got to hear the 7-minute freestyle with Jay-Z on there? I knew I was like, okay, Master Pill's releasing this. It's going to sound very cleaned up. I personally prefer the cassette tape sounding the original version. But that's just me. That's just me being a Big L nerd fan that I've been since 95. Or 92 since he was on Lord Finesse. That was another thing I was a little disappointed with. I don't know if they turned it down or if Nas approached them. I kind of wish we would have had more DITC on here, like more Diamond D, more Buck Wild, more Showbiz and AG, more Lord Finesse. You know, and like I said, maybe Nas probably did reach out to them, you know, because it's kind of the situation Feefo is like with Mobb Deep, where like I feel like the best person to deal with prodigy vocals would be Alchemist and Havoc. I feel like Lord Finesse, Buck Wild, Diamond D would be perfect to still handle Big L verses with care. So that would be my nitpicking. I can't really say his album is garbage because I've heard all of this multiple times. I'm just glad, for one, the family gets to eat off of this. His family, his state gets to eat off of this. And this album is for people who never really dug into Big L and was like, okay, well, this is Nas is releasing this. Let me go check this out. So it's a lot of people's first time really diving into a Big L project. That's what this album is for. After listening to this, I was like, this album is not even for me. It's not for me. Yeah. It's not for someone like, I know Myke C-Town, we both huge Big L fans. This album is not for us. It's not for me to consume and really give an opinion on, because you know, I've heard this before.
Been there, done that. Yeah, you know what?
I've been there, done that with this.
And my stance with this, and I feel you. You know, my perspective was like, if this was the first time that I ever heard it, you know what I'm saying, and that's the reason why I talked about how cleaned up it sounded. Like it sounded. It was hard for me to go.
It was hard for me to go in there that way. I'm my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was hard for me to go in that way because I was just like, okay, yeah, I heard this before. Because he got out. If you look at 139 Linux, which is kind of like the same album cover as this one. I think he was kind of taking the pictures in the same area. He got Return of the Devil's Son, which got some of these same verses, just called different songs, different freestyles on here. What else he got? And it's another one I'm forgetting. It's one more project that was released like in 2011 that's the same verses, some of the same verses, some of the same stuff over again. But I get it. I mean, you know, they were just trying to let people know, hey, this dude was a beast. I'm just glad it was released on a bigger scale. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, B? For me, I could doing what we've been doing for so long. I can just go into something with a clean palette and just talk about what I experienced here. And I feel you, because growing up in the era that we grew up with cassettes and dubbing over cassettes and stuff like that, that scratchy sound is so authentic. You know, 100%. Man. I don't disagree with you, and I think it adds a layer of authenticity to the time frame. But again, if I'm thinking about it with, you know, like I have a nephew that's like 18. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's never heard Big L.
Right.
This is the Big L that I would play for.
That's for him.
You know, 100%.
It's for him.
So that was the perspective that I was that I went into with this project, and why I feel so animated, even though I've heard this many a time, but it does sound clean. It sounds brought to life. It sounds 2025. So I like that, you know what I'm saying, for this project. And like you said, you know, like his estate is going to be able to eat off of this, you know what I'm saying? So that's the beautiful thing about putting shit on wax, that, you know, you can always remix it. You can redo it, this, that, and the third. And as long as the paper is right, then your family gets to eat from it for generations.
And, you know, and I understand some of the features that were on here, even though I was like, it still doesn't make sense. But it was just kind of like, okay, they put Mac Mill on there because he mentioned Big L. You know what I'm saying? He knew how dope Big L was. But I'm like, well, he really would have did a song with him if he was still alive? Probably not. Probably not. Even with Joey Badass, as much as I know we was praising, I mean, y'all were just talking about Joey's Badass verse. I still, maybe that could have happened because they both in New York, but it's just kind of like, I wanted and this is just me. This is personal. I wanted some Give me some DITC features on here. Give me people that L did work with to put it on here.
But then again, like you said, that's already out there, and this is also trying to capture a new audience.
I get it,
which is why Mac is on there. And look, Mac, like when I first heard, I'm like, I had to look at my phone, like, bro, is this really Mac?
I was so this is weird.
I don't disagree. I don't know 100% if they would have worked together if he was still alive.
And I want to say this too. Even though I'm not the biggest Mac Miller fan, I thought he sounded fine on the song. I didn't mind him on the song. It was just weird.
No, because you don't know.
I'm like,
you don't know if they would have worked.
Yeah,
Joey Badass had a higher propensity of potentially working with Big L. But again, I'm judging it for the music and for the reasons why they put out the music, and it makes sense. Like, again, big shout out to Nas and Mass Appeal for what they're doing, giving these albums and these artists new life. Because this feels like a new album, and it does.
And Nas had a very, very mutual respect for Big L during that time. So like, yeah, Nas used to, he said it in radio interviews like, yo, Big L dropping that. Like, that's the dude I'm scared of. Like, Nas had very, very high respect for Big L. So for him to kind of put together this project, I think it was, it was kind of like a bucket list for Nas, probably cool to get the permission from the state and everything and everybody to work on this project. And shout out to Roystified 9 too, Get Better Soon. He's one of the executive producers for this project as well.
Oh, dope.
If he wasn't going through his health issue he was going through, he said he would have laid some vocals down for this. So that would have been dope. It was dope to hear Method Man and Conductor. Like, Conductor put a Big L type spooky beat on here. That was fitting for Big L style. So I did appreciate that. And y'all right about Method Man. Method Man is just, bruh.
Stop fucking around, nigga.
But like, you've been on like one of these feature runs that nobody's talking about that should be talked about more. He been killing his features in 2020s, bro. Like the 2020s, Memphis been killing his shit, even a little bit before 2020. But yeah, man, But yeah, this album wasn't for me. This wasn't for me. This wasn't for the Big L long time Stan fan. Well, I ain't a Stan, but like a big time nerd fan of Big L. This album wasn't for me. This was for what you mentioned, Feefo, that 18-year-old that never dived into a Big L before, or some 20-year-old that be like, man, I heard talks about this Big L, but bam, oh man, he got a project out by Mass Appeal. Let's check this out. That's what this album is for. It's not for me.
And they would have to be like, underground rap, hip hop fans. They would have to be hip hop like historians, guys that like to dig into the past. It ain't gonna be a typical
young guy that listen to Playboy Cardi They're not gonna go back and check for this.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I like the new presentation that they had. I think it definitely gives people an option to listen to whatever version they so choose. I think I like, the Conductor beat. I like the Joey Badass verse on here. It was crazy, like, because I haven't heard the name McGruff in a minute, bro. So McGruff being on there, yeah, man.
But him and Big L was cool as shit, though.
Yeah, he had that album back in the day, and he had that single, Before We Start. Which was a big single for him. I remember that. I was like, God,
I know what you're talking about.
I remember McGruff. So it was good.
A lot of people freestyle over that beat. A lot of people freestyle over that beat because that beat was so popular.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but I think, and let me ask you this, B, are a lot of, like, is this like all of his stuff that's out there? Or a good portion of it, or did they?
Yes, bro. It's probably like about literally 95%. This shit has already been That's already been out there, bro. You know what I'm saying? They took verses. They took a verse or a freestyle from something, and they just they dapped it on there or whatever. So yeah, it's stuff I heard before. I heard all this before. So you got to think though. He passed away in '99, so it's just like, bro, you going 26, 27 years of just. Because on one of them verses he said 9-6. Like, it's just like, bruh. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He mentioned Adina Howard freak. I was like, oh, that's definitely. But if it's 95%, and in the announcement, most of this stuff they mentioned most of this stuff wasn't online. Like it wasn't on streaming. You can't find it. So to your point, what they were doing is sort of paying tribute to him. The estate family, I believe, acknowledged that it's going to be a lot of the older stuff or stuff that people heard, but it's just giving it a home. I think we reviewed something where we talked about giving something a home. And this is like, we're going to take all the stuff that was out there, we're going to put it into this package, and we're just going to give it a home for its stuff to live, for people to listen to. And I think that that's kind of what it was. I think, because I think that I liked it. I like listening to it. Definitely when I heard the 7-minute freestyle, I was like, I was like, oh, so they just gonna put all this stuff on here? I was like, okay, because I didn't look at the track list, so I didn't really know what was going on. I was like, okay, so this is weird.
Yeah, people got excited when they saw Jay-Z, and I'm like, it's not a new Jay. People thinking it was a new Jay-Z verse. I was like, I bet my money that they probably put that 7-minute freestyle on there, and they did.
Yeah. So I the only thing I could think about, it definitely took me back in time. I think they did a good job of capturing the essence of sounds. They made it sound really, really natural on him rapping. But the only thing I could think about over and over again was like, man, this guy was on his way. Like sometimes people say that about rappers and people, bro. Like they say that about a couple that have passed away recently. I can't connect with it. I don't know, like Pop Smoke, X, and somebody else.
Bro, the same year he passed away, he was planning on signing with Rockefeller. Like that same year he passed away. Man, and you got to think what Rockefeller was around that time in '99. So yeah, that would have been a big move for him to partner up with his Flamboyant Entertainment imprint with Rockefeller. Yeah, bro. He was getting ready. He was getting ready to take off, bro. That shit was crazy.
And it's like people were behind him, right? Like he was the guy. And all the other dope rappers that became a dope rapper was like right behind him. I mean, it was on the 7-minute freestyle. But you could just hear it. Like it was just something in the way he rapped, the sound of his voice, his flow, his delivery. There's a charisma's there. And it's almost like he was able to make rapping sound effortless and accessible in a way that so it's like he was like ready, man. And that's all I kept thinking about when I was listening to that. I was like, man, what could have been, bro? Just an extreme talent, and I'm glad people definitely got a chance to hear it for those that haven't. Even though they could have went back and listened to the Lifestyles, they could have listened to The Big Picture. I know that was released posthumously as well.
But he was working on that though. So I mean that even though it came out after he passed away, but that was shit he was really working on.
Yeah,
it was on Ruckus Records too. I remember.
Yep. I got it. It was, what was also funny. I forgot which one it was when he shouted out Mace, Cam, and some of the other guys, and the guys like, and that's
Children
another thing. Like,
they used to be children. He's be in a group called Children of the Corn with him, Mace, early Cam, Ryan, early Mace, all of them, McGruff, yeah, bro.
And so think about that, right? All of them went on to become rap stars / superstars, right? He was right there with them. He was shouting them out. Like they were using their it was the old names.
Yep.
It wasn't even the new rap names that we all. So that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like people just don't understand what was about to happen. And all the people he shouted out, seeing what happened with them, you can imagine what would have. But it was good, man. I'm glad there's a home for people to listen to it, like a reference. Like, when we talk about Big L and people talk about Big L and how dope he was, we're like, oh yeah, whatever. Then we say, oh man, just go listen to Harlem's Finest, Return of the King. Like that's 95%, like you said, of his work. And then you can hear what we were hearing back in the day. And I'm good, it's good the estate got some control over it. They got it out. It's good that Nas came through and organized it and put it out in a very reasonable, respectful fashion. And, and I'm here for it. So, and then, I don't know if you can find the originals, but, maybe you can. But if not,
Yeah, I
And
got
maybe
him.
you prefer to hear this. B prefer to hear the originals, and he's good with that. Some guys probably want to hear a more polished, cleaned up version of it. But nevertheless, I think they did a good job. I think the production sounded like it fit to me. And that's what I was really, really kind of worried. Like, how are they really going to find a way to mesh like the production with his rapping? And I think they did a good job with it.
Well, it sounds like it's time for the grades, man. If this is your first time here, we're grading the flow, the lyrics, the production, the features, the execution, the replay value, and the overall. I will start it off with the flow. He's one of the best to do it when it comes to the flow. I have to give him an A.
Look at you. Yeah, I gave him an A as well.
So did I. I give him an A.
All right, bet. When it comes to the lyrics, one of the best to do it. Gave him an A.
I went B plus.
Yeah, I went B plus as well on the lyrics.
Bet. Production, I'm with Ken. I was questioning, like, where are they going to go with this? Are they going to try to modernize it? Are they going to keep it traditional boom bap? And they did, and I think they did a really good job. So I gave it a B plus on the production.
I gave it a B minus on production.
I gave it a straight B.
Okay. We all in the same group. The features. We had quite a few, some notable newer names and some notable OGs in the game. Features, B plus for me.
Yeah, features B plus for me.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, give me B plus.
All right. The execution. So this is sequencing. This is everything, and I think the execution on this is just it's a little bit deeper, just because, like B said, they took verses and they had to craft around what was already there. But the execution for me is a B plus. I think they did a really good job bringing it to today's standard.
Execution just a B.
Yep, that's what I got. Straight B for execution.
But replay value for me, a lot like B. I've heard this before. It's not made for me, but it's still damn good. I gave it a B minus replay value.
Yeah, out of respect for Big L, I gave it a B plus. I mean a B minus. I was about to give it a C plus, but out of respect for Big L, I got to give it a B minus for replay.
I did give it a C plus B. I do think you make a good point, but yeah. I did give it a C plus.
Overall, I feel like from the perspective that I've been talking about, like, a youngin that has never heard of Big L but likes Joey Badass and Mac Miller, I feel like their overall would be higher, but I have to be true to myself, and the overall is a B, and it's primarily because it's not new to me. Like nothing here is brand new outside of a couple of verses, but I'm at a B overall.
Overall, I'm at a B minus.
That's what I got, B. I'm at a B minus as well.
Copying off my paper.
That's what's up. Well, look, I think, the sentiment is around the same for all of us. Like, our grades were pretty much all in line, and I think this was a good project for somebody that has never listened to Big L before. And for everything that Ken said, like, he was definitely one of those guys that was next up. And when you hear this, you can tell that. Like, I think it's very apparent. Like, this guy was just built different. Like, he was just built different, man. But y'all know what it is.
You know what's next? You know what's next on the Mass Appeal?
What's the next one, Beezy?
Next one dropping, I think this month, sometime later on this month. De La Soul. De La Soul is the next legend that has it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with this one with Dave passed away. So but I trust, if it's anyone I trust with vocals with this is De La.
Yes.
It's Plug One and Maceo. I trust them. So I'm interested to see what Mass Appeal gonna do with the De La Soul release.
That's what's up. Well, look, the comment section is the conversation after the conversation. Let us know how you would grade this: the flow, the lyrics, the production, the features, the execution, the replay value, the overall. And let us know how you feel about this project. And we'll catch you on the other one. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.